All right. It is Friday.
It is Friday. It's a fire drill Friday.
Yes, we are.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are absolutely winging it.
We are Wayne free and we are definitely winging it. Oh my goodness.
And Ashley is predisposed with
She's
pickleball.
predisposed with pickleball. God bless her. We should all have a hobby.
Yes. And we should all have a hobby that takes the front seat of... Is it really a hobby if it takes the front seat?
I don't think so. I think it's like a second job.
Yeah, if it's driving the bus, is it a hobby?
Because I think she actually this morning was teaching a lesson, which makes it a job at that point.
Oh, she has advanced to the level of pickleball instructor?
Yes. So she may be leaving the real estate world for pickleball.
Okay.
So there's that.
So then we'll see on Winning Women's Wednesday
what we get.
Yeah, where the aches and pains are.
Exactly.
Or if she comes in, in need of chiropractic.
Yes. So where's Wayne today?
So Wayne is visiting his family in the Great White North. So he's in Canada.
Beautiful.
So
nice.
I actually managed to know that ahead of time this
yes,
time.
Yes, you did.
Versus texting him at like 3 minutes to 9, like, hey, where you at? Toronto.
Nice. But he also did I don't know if it was before or after, but he was also speaking to maybe the Alaska Board of Realtors.
Yes.
So
it
good
was
for him.
Yes, it was Alaska. Then to you know what? His family might be in Alaska, and they were from. I'm getting my Wayne geography and biography convoluted.
He's in Canada.
So
a
yes,
lot,
he is.
He's not Canadian though, right?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think. No, I think
he doesn't
he's
have
Alaskan.
an accent.
No, I think he's Yeah, it doesn't say A.
No.
I think he's Alaskan.
Okay.
Is that what you say? He's an Alaskan. Yeah.
I think so.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
That'll be a topic for
That's a good
next Friday.
question.
Yes, we'll spring that. So join us next week for Wayne's biography.
Absolutely. Do we want Wayne's biography?
It's going to be a monologue.
Absolutely.
Yes. And we'll learn, because I know that he did start in real estate in Alaska.
Yes.
Speaking of real, how are things going for you? And now with
good.
The Fed cut rates. Did everything just...
So there was a little... So I was at Metrotex when the announcement came, and there was a little cheer
was there
in
fanfare?
the room. There was fanfare, which just
was that
says...
the Oak Lawn meeting?
No, I was actually at Metrotex.
You're at HQ.
Yes,
okay.
I was at HQ. So yeah, there was a little bit of excitement, but unfortunately, what we all know is that the 50 basis points...
It was already baked in.
It was already baked in. It doesn't affect the rates.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. But I will be posting a great commentary explaining how that works today on Facebook. That the general consumer can understand that no, rates aren't automatically going to drop 50 basis points.
Right.
But rates are actually lower than they have been. So that's great news. So buyers, we just need you to get out. And what we really need is consumer confidence. And I think this will help that. I'm expecting...
Boy.
I know.
At this point, so I just turned 56 yesterday.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes, you made it. One more year around the sun.
Yeah. One more trip around this. Yeah.
That's right.
I need to make a very pretentious reel or Facebook post or something
Yes.
about my trips around the sun. But I did get tons of validation on Facebook on my birthday.
You should have. You're amazing.
Thank you. So that's all that really matters.
Yes.
But to take it back to the reason I brought up, I wasn't trying to hustle for my birthday, but at 56, I'm like, okay, will there ever be consumer confidence again? What would that even take? Because me, my jaded self...
I think the world is just different now.
Okay, because I was going to say, my jaded self, what is really weird and somewhat sad is that, if you saw the little clip that we put out where Wayne brought up UFOs and aliens or whatever.
I did.
And I'm like, dude, do not open that can of worms in front of me, because
I did see that. Yes.
can does not that can doesn't empty. So I say all that to say that I can actually trace it back to when I was a teenager and would come to Dallas from Keller, the sticks basically, and there used to be Deep Ellum used to be a really cool thing, and it used to be a crazy thing where
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
What you don't know is my husband's stepfather was Dennis Engel, who owned Pop Engel Auto Glass in Deep Ellum. And so that was our stomping grounds.
For real?
For years. Oh yeah, because if we were out too late, we could just hang out there.
You remember the trailer gimmick, another roadside attraction that had the corny dogs at 3 in the morning?
Oh yeah.
And the fact that back then you would have guys with a blue mohawk or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
And if you made fun of them or cast a disparaging look, they'd kick the crap out of you.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't like, oh, everybody's got blue hair, isn't it cool? You know, it was a slightly edgy, slightly dangerous, kind of crazy thing.
Super edgy. I wasn't allowed to be there. Yeah, for sure.
But again, to fill in that, so that was the first place that I ever saw zines and like underground newspapers or under whatever, and it was the first time that I ever realized, like, wait a minute, there are people that don't think Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK, and it's like when we're in the city that happened, and boom. That hooked me, and forget about it.
Yeah.
From there, and then into the era of the VHS tapes and all the other crazy underground stuff, and then the X-Files or whatever made it mainstream. But to bring that all full circle, I'm like, will it ever go back to a place where, because like now information is ubiquitous, and everybody now is becoming to where they don't believe anything. I was already that guy.
You were already there.
Yeah, I was already that guy. But now it's like, okay, consumer confidence. Like, what will that even look like if it ever comes back?
I think definitely we're not going to see that in the same way again. People are going to do their own research, which is great. The problem is there's so much misinformation out there, and that's what makes it difficult for us as professionals. Is here we are trying to provide the correct information and be a good resource, but because of the lack of consumer confidence, they're doing their own research, and the information they're getting is not necessarily correct, and so that makes it challenging.
How does that? Out of curiosity, how does that enter into the? Because now everybody on TikTok is an expert. How does that like disrupt or overlap or just basically invade the coaching space?
Okay, so that's actually I was at an event. I was there as a realtor, but really as a coach. I was kind of hiding as a realtor on this event that I was at Tuesday night. And observing from a coaching perspective, what I found the most and where I really feel like, and what I've always tried to do, but where I will be making a shift in my coaching, is realtors need some appreciation. Like, we have just been so beat down in our industry this last year. Like, I don't know of another industry where the consumer feels so allowed to just tell us how awful we are. Like, and maybe it's just our time, I don't know. But, you go on Facebook, you go anywhere, and there's constant commenting on why we don't deserve to get paid, how we don't do anything, how their realtor shouldn't have gotten paid. And maybe their realtor was terrible. I get that.
Yes.
There is certainly that out there. There's always a few bad apples every time. But I've never, and again, it's kind of like, I'm a realtor, so I look at realtor things. It's kind of like when you buy a new car, that's the only car you see. So I'm sure there is a lot of that. But for we realtors, just the amount of negativity that I'm seeing where we're just getting our occupation and the work we do beat down is so frustrating. And that's where I think I know I'm going to be shifting some of my coaching into not just providing value to the consumer, but also recognizing your own worth. So a little
justifying
bit of that.
Your value. Yeah. Well, and that's, so oddly enough, we were talking, so I had one of my bestest and favoriteest clients, Andrea Miller, who is just a total rock star at Dallas, the Keller Williams Dallas Preston Road. When you're number one GCI in the building that has 600 agents in it,
that's huge.
You're pretty much doing something right.
Yeah.
But like there, we were talking about that exact thing where it's like, oh no, this is like really a job, and like with her, I'm constantly in my extremely limited capacity of coaching, but I would be like, hey, why don't you get a stager and buy your time back, or things like that, where she's such a machine, and it's very easy for her to justify that 3%.
Yeah.
But it's the exact thing we were talking about yesterday was, how do you make that even easier?
Right.
And so for us, we were just brainstorming on content and what to do, because I think I probably shot, or me, and by extension my team has probably done 100 listings for her. And so we have just this massive back catalog of
content.
And so that's where the management of the social media stuff comes in, where now we are utilizing all of that. Basically, we're kind of upping the ROI on listings from 3 years ago or whatever. But that makes it far easier to justify that 3% versus, everybody's an expert, and there's also the double-edged sword of everybody's got a 4K camera in their pocket, and now there's, what is the likelihood of we jump onto Instagram and there's some ding dong that's in a model home pretending that it's their listing, and that it's like, man, y'all are just like fighting and swimming uphill on a lot of different ways, and how do you even get somebody past the thing of, it's never ending.
Right.
That sort of the struggle.
Yes.
You know?
No, it's really hard for agents right now, especially the ones who have a good heart and are trying to serve their community. The ones that are taking the calls at 9:30 at night and, answering text messages at 6:30 in the morning and trying to get feedback from other agents. They've called 15 times and they won't respond. And now the seller's mad because the feedback isn't coming through and it's not their fault.
Right.
So there's just a lot of punches coming our way. And I really recognize that at that dinner because this was all top producers. And just listening to them and their heart for how they serve their community and their frustrations, I really recognize that just a part of my coaching needs to incorporate just a little bit of that life coaching and some love because they deserve it. The ones who do the hard work, they deserve their 3% and they deserve some appreciation.
Yes. And it's, real estate is, I guess, historically probably one of the few career paths that had been historically female, like always statistically, more women than men. And then that could be like the legitimate path to independent wealth.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our country runs on real estate.
Yes.
It really does.
Yes.
So for us to be so attacked is interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, and then y'all are fighting, like a two-front battle where
it's been a rough year.
Because, and I've been guilty of it before too, where I would think like, oh, okay, the typical real estate female is the trophy wife that sells like one house a year.
So they don't need money. Yeah, they don't need to get paid.
Right.
Well, it doesn't matter if I did the work. You'll get me off on a tangent with that. Because if I did the work, it doesn't matter if my husband is, a sports playing billionaire. I did the work. So
a brain surgeon or whatever. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the fascinating thing for me. Like now that I have gotten, essentially behind the castle wall or whatever, and see how the sausage is made.
I just got so tense.
I mean, it's like Lance draws me off sides like that probably a couple times a week. I'm like, bro, and then you're like, wait, where'd that come from? Perhaps I need some therapy on that.
Just a little.
Yeah, but I won't.
Yeah. As long as you know yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. It's like I know I do that, so I know I do that.
Yeah. It's fair.
And end of story. So now, speaking of the difficulties or whatever, now would be the perfect time to hype up Women Who Win.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So September 29th. Oh my gosh. Is that the right date?
Why am I thinking it's the 30th?
No, it's definitely not the 30th. That's a Saturday. So it's the 29th.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, the 30th is a Monday. Wow, we are on top of it. It's actually the 27th. Friday, September 27th is the Women Who Win conference at Metrotex from 12:30 to 4:30.
Correct.
Yes. We will be there. I will be there. Ashley will be there. Chauncey will be there. Will you be there?
I will be there.
You will be there.
It is in my calendar, so that means it's actually happening.
Yes. Yes, it is happening, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm excited for our lineup. I'm excited for, we've got some great sponsors. We've got Charmaine Byers is emceeing. She's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about some great things, but more than anything, we're going to love on the ladies, and we're going to have a good time.
Love it.
It's going to be a fun Friday afternoon. Black Tie Moving is sponsoring the Mimosa Bar.
Oh, what up, Tyler?
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah, love that guy.
So now, what is your segment? You're bringing it all. Are you the glue?
I'm the glue. I'm bringing it all together, and you're going to walk away with some inspiration, first of all, and then some tactical action steps that you can implement on Monday morning, which is September 30th.
There we go. I knew the 30th was involved somewhere.
It's certainly involved. So,
well, and that's the thing I love, where you guys were being intentionally tactical.
Yes.
As far as like, okay, here's the abstract, here's the theory, here's the nuts and bolts, and
that's the thing. I'm a big action steps person. I love all the gurus and all the seminars and all the things. But if you sit in a thing all day long and you walk away overwhelmed, excited, and exhausted, but you don't implement anything, what have you really done? Like, you've had a great day, and sometimes that's what you need. But when you walk away from this seminar, you're going to have some actual action steps that are easy to implement on Monday, so that you can really make some steps to have a great fourth quarter. And that's what we want.
And one of the things I learned in my time as an instructor and as just writing a class, I used to have this thing where if I wasn't shoehorning a nugget of something, fact, figure, some kind of data into every second that I was up there, I felt like I was ripping people off.
Yeah.
And it turned out that I would get the most it would be like, the audience would be like super calm and just kind of laid back or whatever. What I didn't realize is like, I just knocked them out like 7 minutes
You were just overwhelming them.
And then the reviews would be scathing. I would
they
just
couldn't come up for air.
Slow down. And what I realized is like, oh my God, if they come to a thing and they can walk out with like one action item that is actually doable.
Yeah.
They feel like they got their money's worth. So
exactly.
that's when I learned that, it isn't what you think. It's what they feel and what they, and like how they think about or what they think after how you made them feel.
Absolutely. Like how you make people feel is so much more important.
I just kind of paraphrased. And
that was a bumper sticker that you kind of,
I took my Angelou and just put it in the blender.
Yes, absolutely. It's good.
Repurposed it.
Yes. Hey.
But that's the thing. So I love the fact that you made a point to make it like, oh, no, you're going to be able to do stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to show you like stuff to do because, like I said, everybody's an expert in today's world. And, like Wayne and I will get the questions from his universe and it's like, oh, wow, people really do want something tactical.
Yes, because more and more I'm attending classes to observe, I'm teaching things. And what I'm seeing is you have all these people, especially new agents, that please don't stop coming for education. That's so important. But you're just getting filled with all of this information and the instructors aren't giving you anything tactical to go do with it. Good information, but unless you know what to do with it the next day,
right?
You just got it back in your brain.
Yeah.
And you need a client. You don't need more information. You need a client.
Yeah. So. And there is that, like that dopamine hit of, because a lot of the stuff, the events especially, they have the vibe of a pep rally.
Yes.
And
which is great.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
But there is that sort of gray area where folks can confuse that pep rally and the attending something as actually doing something.
Yes.
And those are two completely different. Because like one of the things I love about having you guys, you and Wayne here, where it's like I tell everybody, well, if you want free coaching, build a studio and make a show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
Well, because the rubber meets the road at some point and it's like, okay, you got to do the thing that you don't want to do.
Yeah. And the fact that you've been to a class or coaching session or whatever every day this week, if you haven't implemented anything, you're still going to be broke in November.
Yes.
Like if you haven't made the phone call or whatever the thing is, you're still going to be broke. And that's not the goal. So.
Well, and here I'm going to butcher another, but it was the result you want is on the other side of the action you won't take.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so like just even to bring it into the recovery thing for a minute, I had one of my guys, he's a pretty high-tone sales manager, and he got into it with one of his finance guys, and it was the line of credit and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, it was a he said, she said thing, like, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. And
I love Kevin Bacon.
Who doesn't?
I mean, he's the best.
Yes, absolutely. Going all the way back. And then, yes, agreed. But it was like one of these things where something got misconstrued, and the guy had been accused of saying a certain thing. And then when he told me like what he actually said to the other person, I was like, okay, well, the real takeaway is that could have been taken that way, even though that wasn't what you meant and that wasn't what you said. Meanwhile, your finance guy is pissed at you. And
you don't want that.
Yeah. And so the real answer is you don't want to call that guy back that's pissed at you and say like, you know what, to be honest, I said something, or tell him exactly what you said. And then illustrate the fact that like under those circumstances that could have been taken in as what you thought I said based on the other person's information. He's like, I don't want to make that call. I said, yeah, and that's why it'll work.
Yeah.
And that's why, and so, he does it, and then he texts me back and he goes, man, that was some bullshit. And he goes, but it worked, but it worked.
Right.
And it was the fact that it was the exact action you didn't want to take.
Exactly.
Gave
you the result you needed.
Yes.
Exactly.
Isn't that weird? And we always look for the shortcut.
And we know it. We always look for the shortcut, and it never works.
It's human nature, I think. It's just to like, oh, there's got to be an easier way.
And nothing's worse than realtors with shiny object syndrome. Oh my gosh. Like, what new thing can I try for only a month and not work and be mad at it and then move on to the next thing?
Yeah. Or, and it's like I get a lot of that in my little narrow bandwidth of the world where it's like, okay, I see all these people that are on camera and doing like all tons of content and doing this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, how do I get the result of the thing that they're doing without doing the thing they're doing?
Right, exactly. Like doing the work for 20 years or whatever it is.
Or like constantly being on camera or constantly putting yourself out there and constantly doing something that is, at the very least at the beginning, uncomfortable.
Yes.
And a lot of it seems counterintuitive
right.
as well. Like, well, that can't possibly be it.
Well, it seems simplistic. Everyone wants, like, there must be some really complicated magic bullet that's going to do everything. No, you just have to make phone calls. Like, really, you just have to call your clients. There's no...
And for the ones that actually like that stuff, because they're not being seen and they're not putting themselves out there and they're just doing it the old school way. And I'm also really fascinated by how much of today's world is coming full circle, kind of like what we talked to or about earlier, where it's like, well, there is no consumer confidence or whatever, like the old timey stuff is just gone. However, the old timey tactics now, like even mailers, like postcards.
I don't remember the number, but I did see a commentary that direct mail, the results from that had improved.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
So like I have one team that I do everything for, like kind of behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And we would send out these mailers and then we would kind of like monkey with it or whatever. And they're out walking, they're getting their steps in or whatever around the lake. And people are going by like, oh, we got your postcard, blah, blah, blah.
That's amazing.
And then instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, it was like, okay, that one worked. Let's just change the message on the back, the verbiage. And so it's the same card, ostensibly as far as just the look, but the verbiage is different. And then it was like, okay, I would have not thought that would have gotten that much of a result that quickly, but...
Well, and if they live in the neighborhood too,
that was the thing.
It's building that relationship because now I feel like I know you because I'm seeing you walking. I'm getting your picture in the mail repeatedly. So I feel like you're the agent that's everywhere when maybe you haven't even listed a house in the neighborhood in 2 years, but I just keep seeing your face. So,
and that's the part that is, I guess technically it's a little bit of a secret sauce, but it's not. It's
again, relationship.
Yes. And it's the thing that you can't assign a 1-to-1 ratio. It's like, if you do one postcard and then one other thing and then one other, and then one set of phone calls or whatever, ...
No.
Business.
That's what I tell people in my coaching is you've got your standards. You've got to make phone calls. You've got to do the things that you have to do. But within that, you need to add an element that you will try for 12 months.
Oh.
It's not one and done.
I like that.
Like if you want to do expireds, if you want to do postcard mailers to farm a specific neighborhood, like there has to be a plan put in place and you have to budget that out for 12 months because it's not ever one and done.
Right.
I mean, you have the occasional, you get a phone call, which just makes you so happy and it spurs you on, but that's very rare. It's very rare. But 12 months and then you can see if it really is going to work for you.
Now I'm curious. So like when everybody says, you got to make the phone calls. It's like, who are you calling? Like what phone calls?
For me?
Yeah, or just as a tactic. If it's brand new, Susie Cream Cheese is now the newest agent or whatever. Like,
well, if Susie Cream Cheese is brand new, the first thing she needs to be doing is building her database of every single person that she knows. And as a part of that, she's adding them into the database. She's sending them a letter introducing herself and her new career in a way that's personal, not salesy.
Okay.
And then she calls and follows up with them and says, hey, did you get my letter? I just want you to know I want to be a resource for you, even if you don't need to buy or sell, but you need a lender or you need a yard guy or I'm building up my resource portfolio, so please use me for that. Or beginning of the year, she calls and says, hey, I would love to sit down with you. I know you don't want to sell your house, but I'm getting practice in. I would love to sit down with you and provide a CMA.
Oh, I love that.
Let me tell you how many listings my husband has got from that. Because when he was new and working under me, he was doing all the buyers. He got a little tired of doing all the buyers, being out showing on the weekends.
Boy, howdy.
He wanted to start picking up listings. So that was the tactic that he used. And it was genuine. But like half the time, if they had equity or he was really involved with like young families. So they would always inadvertently, oh, guess what? So-and-so is actually pregnant. So we really do need a bigger home. So we'll probably call you in a couple months to list the house.
Nice.
Happened he's got that kind of luck, but it happened way too many times. And he genuinely was just trying to get the practice in.
I could see where, he's not going to come across as, oh, this is the in or this is the foot in the door.
Yeah.
That it was just, but I love that, the genuine thing. And then the biggest hurdle there is for people that can't get past, I don't want to work for free, or I don't work, quote, meaning, like not being able to see that, no, this is education cost.
It is. It is because you do have to learn. I mean, what a great way to practice on your sphere of influence. People that already know, like, and trust you. Maybe don't trust you to be their realtor just yet because you're brand new, but they're at least going to give you honest feedback, and you can stumble through, and then you can bring it back to your broker and see if your value was accurate, and you can just have those conversations. And then what do you know? You get a listing. Or maybe they don't list their house with you, but maybe they refer you to their friend at work who talks about it. So yeah, it's not, and you have to learn. You can't just sit in a cubicle by yourself or in your bedroom office at home.
Or just at the, the weekend boot camp at Champions or whatever.
Right. Like that's not real world practice. So when you do get that call to list that first $1 million house, you want to be educated on what you're doing. You don't want to stumble through that.
And therein lies one of the problems in today's little universe of, let's just say, the luxury world or whatever. It's like every 23-year-old wants to be selling $1 million houses, and it's like you wouldn't know the first thing about this particular slice of the business.
Yes, and I'm not a $1 million listing gal. Never have been. 18 years in the business, and it's not my niche. It's not the people I know. I could do it. I mean, I've been doing this long enough that I can certainly hold my own with it, but it's not my market. So I'm very, very and you know what? It's kind of nice in some ways because the expectations are different.
Oh, yeah.
The expenses involved are different. The days on market is different.
All of it's different.
All of it's different. Find your niche, and yeah, if you aspire to that and you really have opportunities and potential for that, there's nothing wrong with that. But no, the 23-year-old that just got their license, you need to sell some $250,000 condos, okay?
Yeah, or you need to sell some $80,000 condos, like over, off of Greenville.
You need to learn to be grateful for any client that you have and appreciate that client, and that's another piece in our community that we really need to work on. We have to remember that regardless of the price point, $80,000 to $80 million. Are there $80 million houses in LA?
Oh, there's probably a couple.
Yeah, probably in LA.
Yeah.
That client is buying the most expensive thing they're ever going to buy for them. So that needs to mean something to you, and you need to take care of that person accordingly, even if it's not the shiny new construction or whatever. So
100%.
And that's where I think in some areas where we see the negativity in our industry where it's valid. Because, we don't want to spend time with the $80,000 client.
Yeah,
we need to.
Or they treat them differently.
They're treated differently. They're not given the same courtesy.
And they want the shortcut to the big ticket items.
Yeah, for sure.
They want to get the big bass in the boat.
Yeah.
And then they want the lifestyle that comes with being in that strata of the business. But they don't want all of the adjacent things or the steps that it takes to get there.
Right.
And that's the thing, where whenever I'm, called to defend the realtor as a profession, it's like, oh, no, the ones that I have that are like my total ass kicking killer, like ninja selling agents, they work.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason that I get along with them so well and vice versa is we both work the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I will freely admit that from the outside look, I don't really have a life to speak of.
But they also have a genuine love for people.
Right.
And you exhibit that. And the realtors who thrive and really honor their community, they have a genuine love for people. It's not just about that 3%.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
that's what makes the difference.
And, I've been fascinated now that I've gotten to the point where I have clients that have been with me for like 5 years plus, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, okay, well, we've done everything together. So now I see how the sausage is made, and even how the recipe is developed.
Yeah.
Because with a couple of them, I literally started we all started with the like, I don't know, what are we going to do? And then as we figure it out as we go, and then to have somebody, like Andrea, shout out to Andrea Miller. She was here yesterday. And we're brainstorming, and we're managing her social media, and then she's like, well, what do you do about this? And like, we can do this, and we're kind of getting ROI back from the old content or whatever. But the other thing was, in her little slice of West Plano, she sold over 50 houses in the neighborhood that she lives in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So, I mean, it's like, okay, you're either doing the work that it takes to do that, and then at a certain point, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Sure.
You know, it was exactly what you said, where it's like, oh, they're the person that you see.
Yeah.
You know, and it's either done by mailers or signs in the yard or a combination of both, and then just tons and tons of just putting it out there.
Yeah. The different layers.
But the other thing is, if you're not good at the people part, and you're not good at the business part, you'll be sacking groceries.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so it has to be that blend of both. And that's the thing I'm fascinated with you guys is the coaching, where it's like, okay, so if you've got the people person or whatever, how do you get them into the mindset of like, oh no, this is a job, and you got to get beyond the.
I know it's an interesting dichotomy, because you have the people that are too people-y, and they'll run themselves ragged.
And they get steamrolled.
And they get steamrolled.
You know, you start on the buy side, and then I watched this with my nephew probably 10 years ago, where he would just get railroad. Like, he's basically, well, Uber didn't exist 10 years ago, but he was a taxi driver on the weekends, basically, because you're a buy side agent, and all you're doing is, well, we didn't really like that one. Well, can we go back to the 7th one that we looked? And it is like, oh my God.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And you know, I've had a license forever, but I've never done a transaction on the realtor side, because I knew that I wasn't cut out for that.
Yeah.
And you either are or you aren't. But like you said, it's that weird dichotomy, and it's that weird mix of.
Because then my other people will come to me with a business plan of how they're going to make $1 million this year, and they haven't sold a single house. And like, okay, you've got to have a sphere, like you've got to love on some people. And so it's bringing these people together in the middle, and that's where success lies. Like, if it's just about the business, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. And there has to be, like, you know, it is true that I don't really have a life per se, as far as what the Hallmark card would look like.
Sure.
But the thing is, it's like, I'm having more fun now at 56 than I ever have at any point in my life. And then just to get the you know, all the high fives and text messages, all that stuff yesterday, it's like, wow, that's awesome. You know, and that isn't why I work 7 days a week, because I've gotten to this place where I love, like, this to me is one of the most fun things that I do. And it was a lark.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like, okay, we're gonna do a
You brought
show.
us in, and now you can't get rid of us.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, just the fact that it is, I probably had like one of the cameras crap out. Is the fan on that guy? Oh, that's the problem.
Oops.
It overheats. Yay,
I understand.
Sony. Right on, there you go. Oh yeah, and then if Ashley, so we'll crank down the AC a little bit more.
When Ashley gets in, you better. Yeah.
For when Ashley gets in. Oh, speaking of, so we've got Winning Women's Wednesday,
which also the raffle for Winning Women's Wednesday is going to benefit Project Beauty. So we've got some fun. Yeah, we've got some fun prizes, and we are going to try to raise some money for Project Beauty. So excited for Joe and the girls to be there.
Love it.
It's going to be fun. Yeah.
And then what about we'll wrap it with Winning Women's Wednesday West.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yes. Did we nail down a date for that? Or
I mean, we did, but clearly I don't really know what they are, because,
let's say mid-October.
It's mid-October, and we have Brooke as our first guest. And me and Christy Becca are going to be just rocking things on that side of town.
Yes.
And what I'm excited about with that is she has such a huge, huge business network. So we're going to go a little bit outside the real estate industry.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yes, I love that. And today was a little bit more real estate oriented than I ever am.
Yeah.
You know, even though that I'm kind of dipped in it 24, like you.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm super stoked just to see, like, I'll pull the curtain back. And I was so tickled the other night whenever I saw that you actually met Brooke.
We were hugging like old life. College friends at the event. It was so much fun.
So
we are so similar. It's so funny.
Whenever I was like, oh my God, you guys met in real life. That's awesome. You know,
it was
whatever.
a blast.
And then we were like doing our little, group text exchange of like memes and stuff. I screenshot it and sent it to Lance.
How funny.
And I was like, just the fact that if there wasn't a studio in Plano, and if I hadn't known Lance for 10 years, and then you hadn't, like all of the little moving pieces that had to line up for y'all to like totally come together.
Love it.
And then for it to like just.
Okay, but here's what, I don't know if you know this. She's friends with Callie from Alamo that was on here a couple weeks ago. So I can't wait to get that panel put together because I need Brooke to be a part of that as well. Like, I don't know how big that studio is or how many people.
Oh, that's right. You haven't even been there yet. Oh no, we could easily do. So the nice thing
world.
about that, yes. Well, the nice thing about that location is there's an unlimited supply of these. We just have to put them
beautiful.
back. Yeah,
Beautiful.
because
Love it.
there is like a little cube farm. You're gonna love that place because
I was there briefly, but I wasn't looking at it in that for that reason. So
well, and okay, so this one, Studio East, is very much man cave.
Very man cavey. Yes,
it's very.
I even wore black to represent Wayne today.
There you go.
Yes.
And then Studio West is a lot more
A little girly.
Yeah, a lot more. And now we did kind of, sort of give it some testosterone.
Okay.
We kind of duplicated the background or whatever.
Okay.
Just because it's utilitarian and it's easier to light.
Yeah.
But it has a much softer vibe. And then Miranda, who runs everything over there, shout out to Miranda. She's amazing. And so totally different energy and vibe than what I might bring to the
I'm
table.
excited.
Yes.
I'm excited.
And I'm super excited to see what you guys do just kind of uncorked and going live from over there.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. So looking forward to it. Not really sure the dates. We'll get those lined out and we'll start promoting those
It's before
soon.
Halloween.
Oh,
There's
definitely.
that.
Yeah, it's before Halloween. It's after the WCR conference. I'm going to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any? I mean, oh my God, and there's like so much. So we got forecast with Metrotex. There's the thing.
Broker Boardroom in New York next week.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
It's Tuesday. I can't wait. I get to hang out with Wayne all day long.
yes.
So excited for that. Have a great talk on Chase the Lion and Burnout. I can't wait to do that. Really looking forward to that. It's a new one for me. So if it sucks, I'm sure he'll let y'all know. But if it doesn't, it'll be fun. And I get to spend a couple days in New York. I'm so excited.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm going to have some fun. Yeah. Alan said, remember, this is a business trip. I was like, well, on Tuesday, it's a business trip. On Sunday and Monday, it's fair game.
I love it. I love it.
Can't wait.
See, there you go. Work and play.
Work and play.
All combined.
Yes. Hey, work-life harmony.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The balance is where you find it.
That's absolutely true. So
All right.
what you got coming up? You going to do anything fun this weekend?
No, I'm just chasing everybody to their events.
Excellent. Excellent. What events? What's coming?
So we got the thing for you guys next week.
Yep.
We've got the next week, midweek is game day, which is like the realtor playbook for 2025.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That was the thing I forgot I said yes to. So, that's a recurring theme in my life.
Yes.
Like,
Which is why the schedule was blocked when I tried to get crews to take pictures. That makes sense now. Okay.
and then after that is forecast.
Okay.
Which is the big year-end deal
Excited
at
for that.
Metrotex.
Super excited for that.
To that, Marion will be here later today to shoot promos because she's the MC of that.
Awesome. Okay.
So yeah, it's just like holy mackerel. There's and it's one of those things where
It's a busy season.
Yes, if it weren't busy, I'd be losing my mind because
Absolutely.
it wasn't busy.
It's busy and it's fun.
Yes, and I prefer to lose my mind when it is busy.
Absolutely. It's a better way. Yeah.
Yes.
I was a little tired when I rolled into the house at 9:30 on a Tuesday night with the Maltese staring at me like I had missed curfew. But it was a fun late night.
Right
So,
on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Happy Friday. Happy weekend, guys.
Yeah.
See
Let's
ya.
get fired up. All right,
Fired up.
take us out, Peter.